All right, thanks everyone. So happy to be here to talk about Nanoveu, and then more specifically an acquisition that Nanoveu made, which is EMAS. And we'll talk more about that in the ensuing slides. So standard disclaimer. So you can see the capital structure of Nanoveu. We have a market cap of 85 million, so liquidity has actually improved over the last few months. Nanoveu has some pretty exciting products, mainly film products. One of them is a solar film that goes on to solar panels to help make the dust where it can clean off easily. And that's in testing right now in a major solar firm. And then we have an iFly 3D film, which goes on things like iPads or cell phones, which gives you a 3D image on your phone. And it just looks like a normal screen protector when the app is not activated. Once it's activated, you see the 3D film come up. So it's actually some pretty exciting technology that Nanoveu has. But I'm here to specifically talk about EMAS. This is the board for Nanoveu. And then the semiconductor team. Okay, thanks. The semiconductor team is led by myself. So I actually 46 years in the semiconductor business. I have worked in companies like Intel for 20 odd years, Freescale Semiconductor, On Semiconductor, Honeywell, you name it. And the funny story here is I had actually retired from all of this work. And two guys in Nanoveu called me up while I was getting ready to go on a dive trip to Raja Ampat. And they said, hey, we have this great technology that we'd like you to take a look at in a great market. So I did some due diligence, did the analysis, and got really excited with, wow, that's a great processor in a great market, and really it's leading edge. So I decided to come out of retirement, and here I am leading this technology forward. Dr. Mo Sabri, very intelligent guy. He works out of the NTU in Singapore. He's been developing this technology for about 10 years. He actually developed this from looking at the atom all the way up to the app. And he came up with a very unique way to process artificial intelligence using very low power and very great latency. What this does is opens up massive amounts of market where everybody else has basically just bolted on AI intelligence onto a normal processor. They cannot compete with our power and latency. And so Dr. Mo, very brilliant guy, came up with a novel way to develop this technology. Scott Schmeiser just came on board. He's leading the commercialization. So Mo would actually have had a capable product that was ready for commercialization. You know, typically the life cycle is 2 to 3 years to be able to take a new technology to market. And luckily for us, Dr. Mo already had this product ready to go, and so we're commercializing this technology as we speak. So we are a fabless company. Our devices are made in TSMC, so it helps us from a capital structure. We don't have to have our own manufacturing. We can actually take advantage of capacity that's already out there at fairly good prices. Our chip is actually 20 times more efficient than our leading competitor, and I'll show you some benchmark data in some ensuing slides. We have global operations. We have a design center in Egypt, design center in Singapore. The commercial team is actually in the US. So the thing that's really exciting here is the system on a chip market is $320 odd billion, but the EdgeAI side of this is actually the exciting part of this. We're actually going to be growing at like 30% plus or minus, where this is only going to be growing at 8%. So we're going to be playing in a fast market with a lot of growth, and I'll show you why that's going to happen in some ensuing slides. EdgeAI talked a little bit about this. So our technology is really built from the ground floor up. We have a very capable chip. We can run AI models down to 1.3 bits due to some proprietary software decompression and work that Dr. Mo did on the chip. So what that does, it gives us the ability to put very large AI models on our device, but consume very little power. And so the other thing is we can go into things like drones, watches, wearables, glasses, because most of the guys that you think about, the rings and watches, you have to plug in and charge every day or two. You can imagine now we're 20x more efficient. So now we can go 20 days without having to charge these devices compared to our competition. So, you know, hearing aids, all of these different devices that need batteries, now all of a sudden they don't have to be charged as frequently. You don't have to always be worrying about finding a charger. So we don't also have to access the cloud. So these are some of the major market characteristics of the ECS dot, which is our chip. We can do 12 trillion operations per watt. Nobody else even comes close to that kind of performance at that battery life. Again, I talked to you already about the compressed models where we can put very large AI models on our chip to be able to utilize that AI capability. And then max battery, we can do 30 gig operations at 2 milliwatts. So this is a lot of power with basically only the power that uses an LED light. So, you know, this basically gives us the ability to run months with high processing capability. So this is the chip. It has dual deep learning accelerators. So some of the secret sauce on this particular device is those two DL accelerators as well as the decompressor. Dr. Mo has figured out how to run this at 1.3 bits per cell. But the other thing that he's come up with is a unique power gating opportunity. We can sit there and listen on the edge. This is looking at any sensor, whether it's image sensors, voice sensor, sound, temperature, pressure, humidity, inertial guidance, whatever the case may be, anything that can be measured analog, we can be sitting there listening to those devices, running them through our AI models and say, hey, listen, this is all standard. There's no anomaly here. You don't need to do anything. But once the minute anomaly happens, all of a sudden the processor will wake up, start enacting the AI, and can do all kinds of different things like predictive maintenance, telling you if you have a heart attack, if you have some blood glucose problems, or you have atrial fibrillation. All these different things can be done without the power of having the cloud. So we aren't resting on our laurels with this chip. Well, this chip's already in the market. We have another chip that's even more efficient that's going to be taped out in TSMC on the 16 nanometer node, which will actually give us even better performance, smaller form factor. So this will make it easier to put into wearables, things like glasses, rings, drones, etc. And it'll have even more powerful AI. And the other exciting thing about this is we'll actually have the capability to have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and long-range radio. So long-range radio opens up all kinds of agriculture, forestry applications, things of that nature, because now we can be sitting in farm fields looking at the crop conditions and being able to radio if crops need more water or fertilizer or things of that nature without being hooked to the cloud or without being hooked to any kind of power system. We can run this off of solar cells. So this is the exciting chart that makes a difference. Is we're 20 times better power utilization than our nearest competitor, and you can, which is listed here. So that's where we can really make groundbreaking improvements in terms of technology and battery lifetime. I've already talked about the differentiation of our chip versus others. So this is the EdgeAI sectors that we can go into. Hearables, we can go for months and put all kinds of different applications for noise cancellation. Wearables, camera systems, Internet of Things for preventative maintenance, glasses, drones. And speaking of drones, here's a real live case where we've looked at putting our processor in between the drone hardware and the drone software, and we can actually improve flight time almost 2x. And so as the drone market grows, this can be a game changer for anybody who's in the drone business, because now they can have either increased payload capacity or they can have extended flight time. our commercial team that we've just hired in the US. This is all commission based. We don't have to pay them any money. They already have these relationships built with a lot of OEMs in the US. They're sampling this product right now as we speak, so we expect commercial access anytime now. So thank you, and I've a little over time, so I don't have any time for questions, but if you see me around, you can ask any questions. I'd be more than glad to answer any questions while I'm just walking around. But it's a really exciting opportunity, and hope you guys get as excited as I am. Thank you.